So our session was titled Capital Drive, and what we were looking at in the session was mainly some of the different economies that we find within Colombo. You have the formal sector that people are quite familiar with, and at the same time you also have the informal sector with very different conditions, different types of labor, different types of economic activity. So we looked at some of the changes that Colombo has been going through, some of the new investments that have been coming in. We had the chairman of the BOI on our panel who spoke a little bit about some of the new kind of job opportunities that would be expected going forward. We referred to things like some of the high-skill, high-technology investments that have shown interest in Sri Lanka in the last few months. But at the same time, there are two sides to the story with issues of skills, of education, who would benefit from this kind of new investments coming in, how it ties in with some of the larger bulk of Colombo's economy, which is really in the informal sector. So we looked at some of these different areas, and we explored further some of the salient features of the informal sector as well. We had a long-standing Pettah tradesman on our panel as well. He told us a little bit more about how the Pettah economy works as a kind of embodiment of the informal sector in Sri Lanka, about the importance of the cash system, even though there are no limited formal rules and structures, how things really rely a lot on trust, a lot on relationships, and very different kind of aspects to what we are used to in the formal economy. And then we also looked at issues and aspects as to how this informal sector would survive going forward in the future as well. We then moved into some of the other areas that are where we see further dualities in the system. Areas such as the urban poor and issues of relocation, issues of employment and livelihood issues for the urban poor, particularly in this context of Colombo's urban renewal, beautification, and so on. Some of the pretty and nice aspects of it are often we often overlook the negatives and the difficulties that are faced by some segments of society as well. We also then looked at things about going forward, issues such as the port city, which would be again changing quite comprehensively the way that Colombo would be and would look going forward. And this again brought up questions about issues such as legality, about sovereignty, and also about regulation. And here again there was a question from the audience about how you kind of balance the issues of the interests of capital, the interests of labor, and the interests of consumers. And there's no kind of magic bullet or silver bullet in terms of how you address this. But the tough issue for the government in this context is the question of smart regulation, right? How you would find this strike a sensible balance between all these various different objectives. There was another interesting question about relocation, where we spoke about things about the urban poor, the issues faced in relocation, but the question from the audience was, what is the alternative? Do you actually what kind of other solutions that you would have? And again, there were issues about empowerment, issues about, again, coming back to education, creating the opportunities for the urban poor to move into more high-paying jobs, but that they need to be embodied with the kind of skills that you do not have right now. So the panel actually came up with a lot of issues, a lot of questions, the solutions of which are not always immediately apparent. And I think all of this is a work in progress, and I think they need to have a multitude of different diverse stakeholders, the diverse views coming in to try to collectively find solutions to some of these problems.